Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ladies' Diary yet again. We are so happy that you're here with us tonight. June is Effective Communication Month, and tonight we're talking about something that, well, it touches every relationship that we have communication. More specifically, we're talking about the power of saying what we mean. Most of us have experienced moments where we wish someone had been honest with us, right? Most of us have also experienced moments where we knew we needed to say something but stayed quiet instead. Sometimes we avoid difficult conversations because we're afraid of hurting someone's feelings. And sometimes we stay silent because we're tired and we're frustrated or convinced we won't be hurt anyway. The truth is, communication affects every area of our lives. It affects our marriages, our friendships, our families, our workplaces, and even the relationship we have with ourselves. Now, the conversations we have and the conversations we avoid often shape the direction of our lives. Sorry, more than we realize. Tonight, we're going to explain what effective communication really looks like, why it can be so difficult. I'm so sorry. So difficult, and how we can be. Oh my goodness. Auto stop. Get up here and stop. Pardon me. This is exactly what we were talking about, ladies. Forgive me. I get to be the first. How we can become better and at expressing ourselves while also learning to truly listen to others. But before we get started, y'all know I can't do Ladies' Diary alone. I need my sister in crime, my beautiful co host, and one of my favorite people to share the stage with. So, y'all help me welcome, please, this amazing, this wonderful, this always insightful Miss Mama Lines. Ah, there we go.
I get excited about my own intro music.
I know. I get excited about it too. Let me tell you.
Every time I see that lion turn that corner, I get excited.
Right?
All right, all right. So
Oh,
I just want to say, boss, that I don't have a problem with your pup because we're talking about communication, and that's what he or she was trying to do.
he was. He was. Let me on the bed with you, Mom. I'm sitting on the
Okay.
edge with my little computer system going here, and it's just not
Uh,
working right for him.
You're in his zone. All
That's
right, all right. Well, we don't get to do this alone tonight. I'm excited. We have panelists that are all near and dear to my heart as well, and amazing women. And so I'm pretty excited. Do I bring them on, or do you bring
sure.
them
You
on?
go right ahead.
All right. All right. Well, I'm just going to do a quick little roll call here. All
Yeah.
right. First and foremost, I'm going to bring on Bree Davis. Hey, Bree. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Yes. Kristen Hillier is, there
Hey
we go.
everyone. Thanks for having me.
And one more, and certainly not least, Kyla Seabrooks.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello. All right. So we're talking about communication. What you got to say? I know, B, somebody has reached out, so let's hear it. What's how we're going to kick this off?
All right. Well, we do have a letter tonight. It's not a very long one, but I think it's something that we've all heard or said ourselves to.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Lady's Diary, I need some advice because, pardon me, I don't know if I'm being too sensitive or if I'm finally reaching my limit. My husband and I have been together for almost 15 years. We rarely argue, and most people would probably say we have a good marriage. The problem is that whenever something is bothering me, I don't feel like he really hears me. He isn't mean. He doesn't yell. He doesn't call me names. Instead, he listens quietly, says he understands, and then nothing changes. A few weeks later, we're having the exact same conversation again. I've started keeping things to myself because I'm tired of repeating the same concerns over and over. But now I'm finding myself becoming resentful, and that's not who I want to be. The more I stay quiet, the more frustrated I become. The more frustrated I become, the harder it is to have a calm conversation. Sometimes I wonder if we're speaking two completely different languages, even though we're using the same words. I love my husband and I know he loves me. I don't want to fight. I don't want to nag. I simply want to feel heard, understood, and respected when I share what's on my heart. How do you communicate with someone who thinks they're listening but isn't really hearing what you're trying to say? Signed, feeling unheard. All right. My goodness. I mean, it's it's something we've heard. It's something that somebody has gone through that we know, if not ourselves, really. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know I have. It's pretty common actually. What I'm getting from that, and this is what I want us ladies to check in on, is there a difference between hearing and listening?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it, Bree.
Yeah.
I personally like to ask the question, does that make sense? Or can you
Mhm.
tell me in your own words what I just said to you? And I just think that that's men. I don't think, I don't mean to put any, roles or anything. I just think that men and women listen and hear differently, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh, for sure.
Especially once you're married and you're living in the house and sharing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of the hearing and supporting that I struggle with a little bit, even in my relationship.
Hmm.
Of my husband tries to solve it for me. I
Mhm.
share, hey, here's what I'm going through. And he's like, oh, well, here's what you need to do, A, B, and C. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I just really wanted you to hear me out so I can just like have a conversation of maybe what direction I want to go as opposed to having it solved for me. And I think that's a little bit of that being heard versus listening as well that you
Hmm.
brought up, Bree.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, the mansplaining. I think I love that mansplaining. Um, no shade to men who are listening, because I think that that is part a great deal. This isn't scientific, but I believe that's a great deal of who they're meant to be, and that is to fix things and solve things and
Mm,
rescue us. And so I think that men they're wired differently, and because they're wired differently, they do tend to. If my woman or my lady is telling me something that's a problem, I need to fix it. I
Mhm.
think that they feel that way. I don't know. I don't know. Kyla, what do you think?
So I'm gonna go with a couple of things. One, I think in whatever relationship or situation it is, we first have to understand: are we listening to understand? Are we listening to respond? And then, just to play devil's advocate, for the men, if they're listening, I'm on y'all side right now. I think sometimes when we communicate with our husbands or whomever, sometimes we're communicating and we just want to be heard. We just want to be listened to. We don't want people to solve problems for us.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes men want to solve things, but sometimes I just want to tell you how I feel. I don't need an answer. I don't need a solution. I don't need any help. But we have to know what it is that we want to communicate first before we can, say, hey, well, you didn't listen to me. But sometimes I just want to tell you how my day was, and I don't want you to help me, with my situation at work.
right.
That's because we feeling and they logical. We're
Right.
emotional,
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a big part of it. And I think being quiet and listening, I don't always know if you're engaged. So I need I need some feedback. Like I need some conversation. I don't want you to just listen. But what I often get, because I am who I am, I often get told, and people in general get to the point, because I see it in frames in my brain. I'm visual. So I tell a story, I tell all of the story in detail, colors, location, everything. And maybe because I'm an English teacher, I don't know. But often I lose people if I don't get to the point, like right now. No, I'm just teasing. Anyway. Um, and so I think that's another thing that men are like, they're waiting for the point. They're waiting for the punchline or the cliffhanger or something to know where they're supposed to take action.
Mhm.
So that's my
I could see that. I think because like as women, like we want to frame the story. We want to give you context. So if I'm telling you about Sally and Joe at my job, I just can't tell you about Sally and Joe and what happened at my job today. I need to tell you why this is important about Sally and Joe and how Sally and Joe came to be. So I need to give you the background and like you said, get to the point. Well, in order for me to get to the point, I got to give you the backstory. So I get it. I get it.
Kyla, I think you and I are very similar. And that's, based on our 4 hours of talking at the coffee shop.
That part.
I can tell you that we were both very much so equal and matching energy, and I loved it. But yeah, oftentimes men are like, I don't think so. Um, please, the game is coming on. What you trying to say again?
Right. Hurry up. What you saying? What you talking about?
34 years married. My husband says, "You're embellishing. Don't embellish."
What?
But there's so much to the story.
Mhm.
I have to embellish. I'm good at it.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
mean, that's why I'm here. You knew I talked like that when you married me, so deal with it now.
That's right. 34 years
That's
ago,
a
you
love
would,
language.
yeah.
That's a lifetime.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
All right.
Uh-oh. We got some comments here. Big
Okay.
Jack story time is in the house. You can't have both. You want the man not to give solutions, but you want them to say something. Most men
Absolutely.
don't want to talk shop at home.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. All
I
right.
can
That's true.
understand that.
That's true.
It,
Hang in there, Big Jack. We're gonna need that male perspective. So you just keep right on giving it to us.
thank you,
Um,
sir.
I like that. So you can't have both. Let's just break that down
But
for a
what if we're not?
second.
Go, I'm sorry.
Oh
Go.
no, go ahead, Bree. I want to
Please.
hear it.
What if you're not talking shop? What if you're just talking? Like I know sometimes I can be very talkative, and and usually when I'm talking, I am talking to express. I'm talking to see if you're listening and to see if you're actually hearing what I'm talking about. Are you comprehending? Like, are you following me? Are you even paying me any attention? Like speaking to
Mm-hmm.
my spouse.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people are talking, but are we really talking? Doing what we're talking about. Like I I'm behind the chair a lot, so people talk to me all day long. About everything. So I don't
She's a
know.
stylist. That's what behind the chair means.
Mm, okay.
she's
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Oh,
Or
man.
there's their head or their feet,
Yeah.
somebody's talking or moaning or something. So I believe in effective communication.
Yeah. I bet
Absolutely.
you learn a lot in the salon though, about people, because people, for some reason, when you're doing their hair or nails or whatever, they feel the need to talk about something.
Yeah.
And you hear a lot, I bet.
Well, they feel comfortable, and I think for the most part, I want them to feel comfortable. But you can also tell when they don't want to talk. They just want to be pampered.
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
don't You know, other time they can't wait to get out. You know, they
Right.
it's like, oh, I just needed to see you so bad. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you could do that for me. Yeah, I can do that for you.
You're a therapist in addition. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
The
therapy,
lowest
that's
pay.
self-care. That therapy is behind the chair, like you said. Like when you get in that space, it's a release, because that's your moment to take care of yourself. That's your moment to just kind of let everything go. And you know, if it's, you know, a stylist or somebody like this, there's a certain intimacy that you have with a person when you working on them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Close confines. So if I'm comfortable enough with you to let you, you know, beautify me or whatever, I'm 99% sure that I'm going to be comfortable talking to you. And then to your point, like you said, sometimes people don't want to say anything, and I think that's when, you know, as a stylist, probably something's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that comes to the effective communication, because it's not always what they saying. A big part of it is what they're not saying.
Right.
You know,
Agreed. Agreed.
the body language and
Yeah,
Right.
I find that in my day to day, and I'm in a corporate world type of role. But when I go into a new project, I have a lot of questions because I want to know the backstory of why are we even here? And sometimes I get met with like, why don't you know that already? Or quick answers. And I'm finding ways in my own communication to to show more curiosity, to get to that backstory to help me feel comfortable. And it's met with different responses depending on maybe who I'm working with, type of a thing. But to your point, Kyla, of like sharing that backstory of Sally and Joe, like I want to know more about the story of why are we even working on what we're working on, and where did it come from, and how does that relate to me and how I can contribute.
Yeah. So context is important.
Yeah.
In most conversations, and I teach in my classroom, dialogue is two. You know, it's two, back and forth. It's not one person. It's not one-sided.
Right.
So if you're quiet and you're listening, that's great, but you still need to acknowledge the conversation and at least have some input at some point. And like our letter writer pointed out, it gets old repeating the same conversation. And you know people haven't been listening if they don't remember the next time you talk about it. And once in a while you can give somebody some grace. It depends on, because I'll forget what was said to me too. So I know how that is. But if it's a constant thing, that's a problem. You know. In my opinion, it's a problem. And that's where I think dissension starts happening. Big Jack said, what's one of the attributes you like about your man? He is a good listener. So I don't know, ladies, what do you say? Do you say you have a good listener?
Mine is honest. You know, that's what I love about. I don't like it. I love it, because he
Tell
is
you like
not.
it is.
Yeah, he's not gonna lie. You know, I abhor a liar, and his honesty. So if he is talking to you, he gonna tell you the truth.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate that. Right. Okay, Kyla, what do you say?
I think my husband is a good listener when it's something that he's interested in.
That's big.
So he will talk tea with me, if you will. Okay. But I can tell if he's not listening, because like you said, if I'm just talking and he just responding, and we've been, this is 18 years, you know, going in, and I'm like, okay, I'll call you back, or okay, I'll talk to you later. And especially if I know it's something he's going to want to know later on, I'll just wait and I'll let him bring it up. Oh, I thought you was going to tell me about such and such. And I'm like, oh, you ready to listen? Okay, then we can talk to each other. So, but you get that synergy after time. You know what I mean? And I think that in early on in a relationship, which is probably why most people don't last, is because they don't get to that point where they know each other's nuances. You know, are you the listener? Are you the talker? When is a good time to talk? You know, when I come home from work, it's actually, I want to talk because I need to release what's happened at work. You know, so I'm not don't leave me alone type of person. I want to talk. Let me get rid of it. Let me get it off of my chest. But there are some people who they just legitimately don't want to do that, you know? So yeah.
That is true. That is true. Kristen, what about you?
So mine's an interesting thing because we have an 18-year-old daughter as well who has gone through a lot of emotions through life. And back to my comment earlier of my husband will listen, but he tries to fix it. What we've been working on lately and really helping him work with my daughter as well is it's okay to be emotional and not know exactly what you need right now, and just to have the conversation and let the emotions kind of flow. A little bit of that download that Kyla was talking about, but more so even, you know, what's impacting me in my day to day, whether it was something at work or something a friend said to me or whatever the case may be. And our daughter is going through a lot of that right now because friends are changing as she's getting older. And we're at a point we're kind of helping rein him back in a little bit of like, it's okay for us to be emotional, just listen and hear it out, and don't try to fix it is kind of my biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-oh, Mama, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going for it. Thank you. That's definitely a different dynamic when you have that, when you have kids too. And I mean, we don't have enough time to talk about all the nuances of communication, but honestly, that is one thing that it really the way we communicate with one another as, you know, spouses or in relationships, and then communication with kids, the teens, you know, it just changes depending on who, you know, you're talking to. But there's one more thing I wanted to, I don't want to jump back to the relationship so much, but this is important. So Big Jack said in the comments, men want to talk, not debate with their partner. Once it becomes a debate, men go silent. What do you guys say to that?
I agree.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, it's real. That's good. It's good having that male perspective. He's kind of an off-camera guest right now. I love it. He said it really can't be turned on and off like that for men. That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when you're talking to a man.
He knows. He's a man.
Oh, where's this freezing for me? Yeah, you know when you're talking to a man who will argue with you, you know, there's a different dynamic that's happening. I know if a man's gonna argue with me, I'm sorry, man, that's petty. I'm just gonna be all the way real. I like my husband and I, we really don't argue. But if I have something to say and he's like, okay, you're okay, just okay, yes, and he's listening and he's done. There's no back and forth. There's no, babe, you're right. We've gotten to the point, babe. Okay, all right, babe, you're right. But a man that's gonna argue with you, that's a different level. And just for me, because I've been, you know, previous relationships I've been in, that's just petty. So
that's an indicator that you know when you got the right one, when he doesn't take it to that level. Yes. And then on top of that, add he's honest, right, Bree? Love
Absolutely.
that. Love that. I'm experiencing that myself right now, and I love it. So yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. All right. I guess just the first talking point, that was really good. Let me see what the next point is. Okay. So resentment. So this is another point from the letter. When repeated conversations create resentment. So what happens when someone brings up the same concerns over and over and nothing changes? How do we keep frustration from turning into resentment? And what does silence become more damaging than speaking up?
Oh, that's a good one.
The first, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Bree.
She's talking. I can hear her.
Oh, you can now? Okay.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, that goes into
that. Is she muted? I can't hear her. Can you guys hear her?
Yeah,
we can hear her.
I'm sorry.
But you can't hear her
Okay.
at all?
I can't hear her.
Oh
Oh, that's
no,
odd.
Kristen, I'm sorry to keep saying her.
that's okay.
Oh, I
Um,
wonder how it's doing that. You hear her, Boss B?
I hear everybody fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too.
yeah, I hear everybody.
And
Mhm.
you hear
Okay.
the rest of us, Bree?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
interesting. Wonder what that's about. Good old StreamYard.
Mhm.
You've gone out and come back in a couple times, so it could be something disconnected in some way.
Yeah.
All right, but we'll translate. Kristen, go ahead, and then I'll make sure that Bree gets what you're saying too.
Yeah, I'm actually reading a book called Crucial Conversations right now, which is it's a lot about the workplace, but it really ties into personal relationships as well, and like making sure. So with this resentment comment that was written in, um, sometimes having the same conversation doesn't work. You have to find a way to get in there differently and express yourself in a different way, to be heard and get that reciprocation as well. And sometimes those conversations are really hard, and making it just kind of flow in what's been comfortable, or that you've continuously been in the
Mm-hmm.
same discussion, is easy to
Mm-hmm.
do,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't get you to a resolve. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's having that harder conversation, or questioning the listening that's happening, and like what Bree was bringing up earlier, like, hey, are you really hearing me, in more so of a, can you help me talk through this and work with me in a way that gets past any type of resentment, if that makes sense.
So first of all, the book is Crucial Conversations,
It is Crucial
and
Conversations.
I'm going to check that out. And that's a good book about communication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome, awesome. So when I was listening to you, what I was thinking about is active engagement. As a teacher, we can stand in front of the room, and Kyla, you know this as well. You could be teaching, you have 30 kids in the room, you're not actively engaged with all 30 of them. You may be actively engaged with a third of them.
Mhm.
And you're looking at body language, you're looking at them doing other things with their eyes, where their eyes are going, their behavior, and all that stuff. In addition to that, and the way that what I hear you saying, um, the way that I make sure that I get 100% engagement is proximity. I start walking near the kids that I think are not paying attention, and then I will call them by name and say, "What do you think about such and such?" I pull them in with a question or something. And I walk the room, and this is, because long gone are the days of stand up front and lecture. That's not going to happen. You do that, and you're
Mm-hmm.
the only one in the room that hears yourself.
Mhm.
So you have to work the room, so to speak. And so when I think about one-to-one conversations with people and what you're saying, sometimes we fail to actively engage with the one
Mm-hmm.
person you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to do that is to, one, make it relevant to where they understand it. Like Kyla said, if her husband's interested, he's going to respond, or he'll,
Yep.
now you have a good conversation.
Mhm.
So I want to read that book because I think that's really good, because I think crucial conversations are being wasted all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because we have not made sure that the person we're conversing with has bought in or is engaged.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
where
and it's making sure the stakes are the same for both, and
right,
and the stakes are high, and there's emotions,
right,
and being able to put those out there and recognize that that's why you need
yeah,
to have the deeper conversation that maybe you haven't been having.
right, right. And I'm just curious because we have some people on here that have been married for so many years. I think, and I had a 23-year stint at one point too. Does it get better over time if you don't fix it in the beginning, or do you grow into one another? I mean, like, you know, I think because like you said, Kylie, we've had different relationships. So if you're
Right.
pulling from what went well and what didn't, communication, I think, was the number one downfall for me in just about everything, because I was always over here and he was over there somewhere. And we were not connecting, we're not
Yeah.
actively engaged.
Mhm.
So it's kind
I
of
Um,
think it goes back to
Go ahead.
whoever I'm communicating with,
right.
because I may say I'm not going to continue to repeat myself to who's the fool, or if I keep having to tell you the same thing, I'm
Right.
not going to keep talking to you.
Mhm.
You know, I'm just
Amen.
uh,
I
I'm
love that.
steady saying the same thing.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right.
No,
Right.
and it's not gonna be any resentment at all. I'm just gonna quit talking, especially when I realize you're not listening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying, because at some point I got to be crazy to just keep talking and you're not even listening to me.
Say who
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you feel about me? Like, how do you feel in general? That's where I would go with that, is like, I'm probably not the right one,
I mean, not even in just a relationship. I mean,
in general.
any in general. I mean,
Mhm.
not even talking about a significant other. If I have to keep reiterating the same thing to you, like I don't
Mhm.
even want to exert that type of energy.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's good. Hmm.
My grandkids, maybe, but that's a child, not
Right.
no grown person. Nah.
I'm gonna go back to what you said when you said, does it change? And I feel like it's an evolution.
Okay.
Honestly feel like it's an evolution.
Mhm.
Because like you're saying, like if you're having the same conversation more than once, then there's two things that are happening. One of the things that's happening is the person that is communicating the thing is not communicating exactly what it is that they want, or they're
Mhm.
not communicating effectively, and the person that's being communicated to is not hearing. And you're looking for something, like your signals are, they're not meeting, they're like this, you're looking for something. Sometimes it's like we're looking for answers that we just not gonna get. If I want to know why,
Mhm.
it's like being in school. You know what I mean? Like you have certain students that they get mad because I want to know why she talked about me. I want to know why she said that. And she gonna tell me. And no, she not gonna tell you. You don't have the right for her to say that. You know,
Mhm.
you're not going to get that answer. And because you're not getting that answer, you're not getting closure. So that cycle is open. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
and I think that that's for me, I know personally, like I'm to the point, and it took me a minute to get there, but I'm to the point where now, like certain things, if I don't get a conversation or a resolution, you know what? Okay, because like you said, who the fool? Are we not getting ready to keep going back and forth? This is not an Aaliyah song at this point. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we gonna stop the conversation, and it has to come
Mhm.
for me. It's within. Do I really want to keep beating a dead horse, so to speak?
Mhm.
So yeah.
mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Yeah. And,
is it like you're picking on somebody when you keep coming back? Now it's starting to
mhm.
be
Yep.
agitating.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So why don't people say what they mean?
I think a lot of that has to do with not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings. But to go back to the other conversation, 34 years of marriage, I think what you do is you just grow into their habits too.
Mm.
The selective hearing habit,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
that one shows up. Well,
Yep.
guess
It
what, ladies? You can have it too.
Mhm.
After 34 years, you love it. You do. You love it. You celebrate every year that you have it. But
so funny.
seriously,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, but most of us, we know that there are some of these things that are showing up before we ever even get that proposal, right? So we see some
Mhm.
of this stuff and we learn to live it with it from the very beginning. But we can't pretend that we don't have things that they learn to live with too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, okay, I may be a nag, but your selective hearing is really abrupt today. It's
Yeah.
just it's trading one set of complications for another, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And there's something you brought up in the beginning, Boss B, that
Okay.
resonated with me was having good conversations with yourself. I think
Yes.
that's really important, of being
Yes.
comfortable in our own skin, of
Mhm.
bringing up the difficult conversations, but also just having that inner voice of just calming and, kind of like resonating a little bit more. So I find myself doing that a lot lately, and in some of the workshops I've been in recently, of what is that inner voice saying, and how do you want to communicate it outwards? And it could be with a coworker, it could be with your spouse, it could be with your child, of ensuring that you're feeling grounded in your own space before sometimes exposing that conversation out into the world.
Well, I think that's the biggest point right there.
Mhm,
That
mhm,
last one, definitely.
mhm.
Because I mean, you can't expect somebody to be okay with who you are if you're not okay with yourself. It's just not
Truth.
possible, right?
Truth.
Yep.
Just not
Truth.
possible.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
but Big Jack says you can handle the truth.
You can handle. We can handle the truth.
Yeah,
You can't
Mhm.
handle the truth. Okay.
it's about that
And
selective hearing, I'm sure.
mhm.
Wait a minute. Did he say don't come at me with something you saw on TV or social media?
Okay, content creator, gotcha.
he's, he's getting his therapy in this.
I'm
Okay.
so glad you're here, Big Jack.
Oh, that's funny. Just for you guys, so Big Jack Storytime is the founder of our podcast organization, Iron Sharpening Iron Universe, and so we're having a good time with this because I'm glad that he's interjecting the male perspective. But
I'm just
um,
surprised Walt's not there,
I know
giving
Walt is the
ball
other one
to
that is
him.
usually funny. On the replay, I'm sure we're going to get some good comments from Walt too.
Yes, that's the
Um,
peanut gallery.
so yeah, I mean, I think I think that I've been in situations where I didn't feel safe in a relationship enough to express myself because usually whatever I said was debated, was it was there was always a tug of war in that marriage. And so that's why it's a prior marriage because, finally I let go of the rope. And so you have to understand who you're dealing with. And I think you have to value the person that you're with to begin with in order to get to a point of effective communication. At least that's what I'm learning at this stage in my life, is that there are some things that are just non-negotiable. And but we all have, we learn as we go. And to me, I've done a fantastic job of failing forward in life. I'm good with that. So I don't have any regrets, but I do think your communication gets better as you go through things and you understand what works and what doesn't work, you know.
Mhm.
Um, Jack's comment, you can handle the truth. I don't know if he meant can or can't, but I think he said can. You
He
can
said
handle.
can.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
Are we at a stage in our lives where we prefer the truth over? And I know Bree, you already
Mhm.
said what you value.
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
because is it true? Truth can hurt.
Truth can hurt.
Mhm.
I think truth can hurt, but here's the thing about the truth. You got to be self-aware. Like y'all said, you need to know who you are. The truth can hurt, but I would rather have the truth than have a lie any day of the week.
Yeah.
I don't want to be led on. I don't want any assumptions. I don't want any false sense of comfort or any, like, you tell me how you feel, because I'm gonna tell you how I feel.
Mhm.
And whether or not you like what I said, the fact that I'm telling you is it should be enough. And I think it's about how we say things, as always. But I would rather tell somebody, what it is. Like I'm an administrator, and sometimes I have to tell parents, this is what we're doing. You may not like what it is that we're doing, but I would rather tell you the truth than you be wondering what's happening, or you not have an assurance of something's getting done. That's a trust issue. That goes back into it being a trust issue, because I hurt your feelings. That you hurt my feelings if you lie to me. So that's I go with that one.
Yeah, and I know I got to the end of my 23-year stint only to find out that how he felt about something that all for the years he told me he was fine with, and then he wasn't, and then it was very painful to hear it, and I'm always transparent. It was my weight. And I was, oh no, you're great, you're beautiful, all is well, until that one fatal argument that said, no, that was a problem for me. How do you do that? You know what I mean? How do you do that? And that's why I agree with Bree. I would rather you not lie to me. I'd rather you just tell me right up front, because then I know where I stand and I know what I need to do. Now I have a choice. You take choices away from people, um, when you lie to them. You take options and choices away. And that's manipulation. And there's no room for that in communication, because now it's not on a solid foundation. Look at how I used all those Asians, because I'm a teacher. You can't have an already made up mind when entering the conversation, because as soon as the person doesn't follow the invisible script, you get bothered. Ladies, what do you say to that?
If your mind is already made up, then you're closed off to the conversation anyway.
Period.
So why are we even having a conversation if you don't want to open up? I definitely agree with that. If you come in with your mind, this is how it's going to be, then we don't even need to have a conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I've been guilty of that. I've come to conversations with the solution that I wanted in mind. I think a lot of us do that, not intentionally, but at the end of the day, we know the outcome that we want. And that's something that I have learned also to back off a little bit on that.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that is the waiting to
I'm
say
having technical
something.
difficulty. I can't hear nobody but
Oh, shoot.
Boss B right now.
Okay.
Doing that?
I was going to say that there's an going off of the I already have a solution in mind, or I know where I want this conversation to go, is there's a lot of the anticipating how to respond. That's really hard. I mean, we as human nature, that's like you're listening to somebody and you're like, oh, this is how I'm going to respond to that conversation. Or my friend just shared with me this horrible story about her family relations that she had recently, and I'm trying to get to either empathize with, I'd rather empathize with her as opposed to say, oh, this happened to me too. Like there's a lot of that relational that we try to get to when we're having conversations, when it's better to take that step back and be more empathetic and just like continue to listen before we respond. But I think that's a human nature of like, I know how I want to respond to this based upon my own experience.
Kristen, I'm guilty of that one. I catch myself sometimes, and then I hear a voice in my head going, okay, shut up about that. It doesn't matter what you went through. And because I will try out, it's like a matching energy thing. It's like
it's hard.
You're telling me I want you to know that I relate because I've been there, but maybe it's not a good idea to share that early in the conversation. Let them get their stuff out and dealt with. Yeah. Bree still can't hear? Bree? She can't hear.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, this is the thing about live streaming technology, is we're at the mercy of it, unfortunately. And so we do the best we can. We have one last part to this segment that I want to go over because we've talked about communication, assuming that it's mainly what's vocal, but there's other forms of
Mhm.
communication. So let's talk about body language, actions, um, follow through. How what are the other ways in which people communicate with us that they can either pass or fail?
I think eye contact is a big one for me.
Mhm.
When and whether someone's speaking or we're in a situation, I find this a big thing at work a lot of like people kind of like look off to the side when they're telling something, and I try to get back to that eye contact of like really understanding what they're trying to communicate, especially if I'm in a one-on-one situation with someone who's maybe expressing some concerns.
Okay.
And are they feeling comfortable enough to, maybe they're venting a little bit, but are they feeling comfortable enough to actually look me in the eye to have the conversation? um
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And there's some cultural aspects to that as well. I
mhm,
had to learn when I started teaching on a Native American reservation. That was the big thing. I was like, why are these kids looking at me? And it took it
mhm,
took a student to say, Miss, that's disrespectful. In our culture, that's disrespectful to look you in the eyeballs. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my
put it
whole
at
life
oh,
I was taught that if someone's not making eye contact, they're being dishonest or they're being shifty in some way.
Mhm.
mhm,
And honestly, that was one of the biggest things that I had to realize is that find out where that other person, what their views are on that, you know.
yep,
So that's a good one, eye contact, but it also indicates other things. It indicates, like you said, it can be a sign of nervousness. It can be a sign of dishonesty. It can. It can be a lot of things. It just depends on the context and who you're talking to.
mhm,
Yeah. What else do you guys have?
Davina, I agree with what you said. That's a good one from the cultural standpoint. Especially like many of us are in different places, have lived in different places, and what we see as a form of respect to other people really is not like you stated. But I also think that that's another thing. Like with awareness comes cultural awareness and the appreciation for different cultures and how we approach them, especially when it comes to teaching students who don't look like us.
Mhm.
In the same type of household, you looked at somebody when they were talking to you, and if you were a kid, you said nothing until somebody said something to you. Don't open up your mouth. You
Right.
know, you go into the store, you don't want nothing, don't touch nothing, don't look at nothing, don't breathe on nothing, those type of things. And I mean, but you go to somebody's house or go with another family, and they're all in the cabinets, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going? We don't touch that here in this house. We don't do that.
mhm,
So it's like you learn to
That's
appreciate
right.
nuances and certain differences to other people, and I think that that's what makes us who we are. That is what makes
Mhm.
mhm,
us different. And I'm just gonna jump in here because I like what the guy Big Jack said. He said eye contact can be taken as intimidation, and that's a big thing too because
yep,
like you and I, David, we work with teachers
Mhm.
internationally. And some of the teachers, sweetest people that you will ever meet. I mean, but will not, look you and I will not ask you for anything because it's a sign of asking something is a sign of weakness, and they don't want to be
Mhm.
like that.
mm,
So that body language piece, I think, is extremely helpful to know, and I think you have to know what your triggers are. What sets
Mhm.
you off when it comes to body language. What do you like? What do you don't like?
yep,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good stuff. So even with the body language or the eye contact or any of it, there are multiple variables. So
mhm,
um, at the end of the day, you have to invest time in getting to know who you're working with.
Yep.
who you're communicating with. Now, it's not the same as I'm one of those people that talk to everybody. So if you're a cashier at the grocery store and you're not smiling, I'm going to try to figure out why. And I'm going to say something to try to get you to smile in just that short amount of time. I don't know that person, but I just know that I enjoy doing that. I may throw them off and say, God, you have beautiful eyes or hair or whatever. And either I'm looked upon as a weirdo or I'm just a really friendly person. But that type of communication, you don't have time to build a relationship. And that has to do with the personality that you have if you're that outgoing. But um, if you have people in your world, in your sphere, and you are seeing them consistently, I think it's incumbent upon us to build relationship enough to where you understand their body language. You understand the way they respond. You understand if they're, I like to say, I have type A friends and I have the other friends. My type A friends, I know them. They're the get to the point. They're the ones that I lose their attention real quick when I'm talking to them, right? But I understand them. Um, and I just think that's a big part of communication. B, what do you say?
Yep.
Honestly, I think at first, Bree, no apologies, honey. We're okay. I'm so sorry you're having so many troubles over there. I'm trying
Yeah,
to forget
do
that
not
fixed.
apologize.
No, not at all. Um, Sorry, I was kind of lost in that. I was looking to Big Jack says looking at your phone or checking emails while someone is talking. You know,
Ooh,
that one gets me.
Mhm.
That one gets me. And
yes.
something else that gets me. If I go on somebody else's podcast and they're not, I can tell they're not looking at me or paying attention to me while I'm talking. That's bothersome, which I just did to you ladies, and I'm sorry for that, but I was trying to help Bree.
No, 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 no.
But
I know what you're talking about. I know
yeah,
you're disconnected from that host. You
right,
don't feel connected.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And it's just, it's
Mhm.
not engaging. It doesn't make me want to come back. It makes me think, well, did the listeners really get what I just said? Because
Mhm.
where did that come from? you know,
Yeah.
it's a completely different situation when you just cut yourself out of the conversation like that. How are you supposed to respond? These people are asking for your attention. They got it, right? They
Hmm.
got your attention, but then you gave it away.
Hmm.
That's
Mhm.
not
Hmm.
how you should do, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now
I
that
mean,
cell phone one though,
yeah,
that cell phone one is a pet peeve of
Mhm.
mine, but
right,
I have caught myself doing it too. And
Mhm.
I'm doing it usually when I've dialed out from the person. So I do know that they've dialed out from me. But
right.
honestly, or in the case of talking to Kyla for 4 hours, you got to check your phone at some
Right.
point to make sure your family knows you're still alive.
Right.
But I have seen people and I know people, and I'm not going to call any names, they may see this one day, that would pretend to be looking at their phone to get out of the conversation.
Yes.
Oh, like,
Mhm.
oh, this is important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and it
Wow.
would be all fake.
That is a
Honestly, it's
mess.
just,
That just, oh my gosh, that's almost as bad as somebody smacking while they're eating for me. Nails on a chalkboard. That gets me. I can't stand
yeah.
it. It's like, yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. Look, I'm up here. Come on.
No,
Yeah.
really, 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 honestly, it's not. Yeah, I'm letting Bree know too. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, good.
I know
Thank
she's
you.
so worried. It's not a problem.
I
Um,
think that that phone thing, I've
mhm,
watched some kids at school not to
mhm,
got their phone out, right? That's that first thing. But it's starting to be more of a muscle memory.
right,
I
Mm.
it's muscle
right.
memory. It's like my phone is right here. Let me just really quickly. Do I have a notification? Oh, and then get back to what it is that I'm doing. Oh, and it's right here. Let me pick it up again. From my observations, for a lot of people, it's starting to be muscle memory. And
It's
like
addiction.
we were talking in our conversation, like we grew up when the phone was on the wall. If you
Yep.
wanted
Right.
to walk through the house, you had the 50, 500-foot phone cord, hopefully,
Mhm.
or you was right there where everybody could hear your conversation. You
So true. Ooh, that wall phone in the kitchen could reach the
Yes.
living room.
Right. Barely. I remember when the, cordless phones came out. Like that was the most amazing thing ever. But yeah.
man, you were rich if you had a cordless phone.
Oh
Okay.
man, beepers were the best. You
Oh
look
my God.
important with that thing on the side, you know?
You know, listen, going from, Carla, didn't we talk about this the other night? Going from the rotary dial to where we are today
Mhm.
in our lifetime has been amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Been amazing.
But so has, and we didn't touch on this because we just didn't have this conversation, but so has the way that we communicate with those devices. When you think about
Yep.
it,
Yes.
type of communication that we are doing now with cell phones and versus those type of phones is totally different. When the phone rang in the house, like when the phone, I was with my grandmother. When the phone rang in the house, I knew it was somebody from church calling.
Right.
I knew it was an aunt that was calling. And don't let the phone ring after 9 o'clock because something's wrong. Because who's calling my house this late at night? If somebody's calling it, it's an emergency automatically.
Right.
So
Not
that
anymore.
type of evolution again of everything is crazy. Jack said, "Call waiting,"
Yes.
and you had to pay
Oh
for
my
call
gosh.
waiting.
You
I don't know.
did.
You had to pay for call waiting. That was not built in.
Mm-mm. Then when caller ID came out, that was the craziest thing, right?
my
Like you actually
God.
knew who he was calling you.
Oh, the caller ID. Yeah.
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 Yeah, Jack didn't
Yeah.
like that one. He couldn't make prank calls anymore.
Listen, you know what? I'm telling you, I had coworkers that had me calling the zoo asking for Mr. Lion more than once.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got tricked on that years ago. And,
Oh my
you know,
I
God.
love it.
I kept asking for Mr. Lion, but the zoo people got pretty
wow.
upset with me. So I just got to touch on this because we're talking about communication, and you all made me think about all of the keyboard warriors that are out there now. People got, I'm not going to, listen, the things that people feel comfortable saying in writing,
Yep.
like, woo!
Call
You
them
would
out.
not, I promise
Call them
you would not see me in the grocery store and say to me what you would type to me
No,
where I can't
absolutely.
get to you.
Nope.
And that's another issue I think with communication is that there's so much taken for
Yes.
granted.
Yes.
And because we have learned to live in a cyber world and communicate this way, we've shortened the language. I can't get kids to stop trying to write essays with text language. If I see IDK on an essay, I'm ready to lose my mind. And it's the truth.
IDK to be to TBH JK because I mean it's, she's like, oh my goodness.
I have a question for teachers though.
Yes.
Does it bother you more when you see that or when you actually hear them saying LOL, IDK? I mean, actually speaking that language, which is worse, honestly.
Both. I think it's both.
It's both for sure.
Is it?
It's both
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
it's
they do.
Well, because then as teachers, we say, use your words, use your real words, not the fake ones. But yes, they shorten everything. So that is that's a big deal in terms of communication because now let's fast forward 20 years. What's the degradation of how people communicate is, I think, partly because there is so much emphasis put on social communication in social media and other ways. I live in a house with roommates. I called them on the phone instead of getting up and going and knocking on their door.
Yeah.
It's just convenience, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, well, I don't know.
You don't want to bug them with whatever they're doing. So if you just send them a text, hey, what you
Yeah,
doing?
exactly. Yeah,
It's all good,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anything else about communication before we wrap up? Because I think we were all over the place, but yet I think the central theme was still
Yeah.
about communication. And I don't
Mhm.
know if our letter got answered or not, but
Oh, I think you did.
I think so.
I think so.
I just think relationship. Work
Yep.
on, build your relationship first with self. Get to
Yep.
understand self awareness is number one. Number two, now who are you dealing with and how are you dealing with them and what norms, what do you have established between the two of you so that you can effectively understand each other. That would be my take on it. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit on it, Davina. I mean, the be true to yourself, number one, of knowing
Mhm.
what your, I don't want to say expectations, but more so kind of what you're wanting to get out of the communication that you're having. Like, is it being somebody helping you? Is that what you're looking for as a resolve, or is it more so just to vent and
Mhm.
share and being able to communicate that before the conversation even happens to a
Mhm.
certain degree?
Mhm.
Mhm. Give that disclaimer, right?
Right.
Hey, I'm going to run this by you, but I don't need you to solve it. But I
Hmm.
just want to share it with you or whatever. I
Yeah.
think that I started doing that, by the way. And I
That's
think that
awesome.
really does help a lot.
Hmm.
Um, because I don't want to tell somebody, well, I didn't want you to solve it for me. I don't want to have that conversation. So I'll just let them know up front. And
Yep.
that's what I meant by norms. Have,
Hmm.
understand that right up front. So that's good. That's good. Kyla, were you going to say anything?
I agree with you both. And then my just takeaway piece that I would probably add is that communication has an evolution piece to it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
Mm-hmm.
or not we're communicating verbally, we all have been in that time period where that was all that we had at some point. I remember writing notes with my best friend. I still have notes
Oh
from me and my
yes.
best friend folded up,
Same.
meet me at
Yeah.
6 period and stuff and I'm going back to what you said about the kids, and the acronyms, if you will. Like we wrote whole essays to each other. Girl, do you know what
Mm-hmm.
happened in class? Oh my God, you'll never believe. Like it was like 4 or 5 pages together, and I still have those. And every now and then I take them out as just a memory,
Mm-hmm.
of how things used to be, because I'm like, that's a core memory. I love for a kid to be in my class and write a note. Please write a note. Please
Mm-hmm.
write a note.
Mm-hmm.
But like this, let's get back to, instead of texting them like meet me at the bathroom, like just write a note at this point. So yeah, communication, it is an evolution regardless of the medium that you're doing it in, whether or not it's verbal, whether or not it's our evolution of our technology. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Wow, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That is so good. All right, boss, take it away.
Well, first, I want to give you a little bit of insight on mine. Something I think that helped get me to that 34 years.
Mm.
When my husband and I first got together, it was probably the first 5 or 6 years we did this. While he was at work taking his lunch, he didn't come home for it. He stayed in his truck and did his job, and sat down and ate his lunch and pulled out a journal that he and I shared. Because when you're angry with somebody, that
Yes.
journal, it doesn't
Mm.
look at you with angry eyes.
Yes.
It doesn't
Mm.
scream at you with angry words. Instead, it's reflecting what is going on inside their head and not inside their emotions,
Mm-hmm.
to me.
I
Mm.
love that.
So he and I would go back and forth. It could be 5 pages, it could be the whole book, but we went back and forth like that for a long time. And I'll tell you, he would bring me my favorite flower, wildflower, is Indian paintbrushes. They're all over Texas. He would stop somewhere, grab me a handful, and bring those with that journal. Now,
Mm.
Mm.
that went away after a while, but that was okay because it opened that communication door for the both of us, and it made us understand each other well enough not to go off on each other like that, to just freak out on each other, you know? And I think that's a big part of communication is the message that you're relaying with, like we said, your body, your thoughts, your words,
Yep.
the way you're I don't know, aggressive or not aggressive enough. That all plays into the factor. So if you can write it down without, obviously, if you're upset, crying all over it and ruining it, then I think that's the best way that me and my husband ever found to communicate.
Yeah.
And some people think it's childish for a husband and a wife to do that. You know what? You can go to any museum and you can see back in history, revolution, civil,
Letters.
whatever war you want to.
Mhm.
You know, my dad was in Vietnam. He and my mother sent cassette tapes back to one another. It's a lost art, if you ask me. It truly is.
I am so inspired by this. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Like
This is
I've
amazing.
never
Phone
ever
call,
heard
ma'am.
that.
We
Love this.
that. Me and my husband used to do that. We kept journals early on. We were newlyweds, and we, again, evolution. So we were having that communication problem. We had composition notebook that he would write to me and I would write to him. And you know, thank God he's still here, right?
Amen.
And so we got the 18. But no, I love what she said, because you
Yes.
have to be able to, your thoughts when they're on paper, they're way more solid. And you're right, they don't, you can yell if you're writing in all caps, but it slows it down for you. It slows it. I love, oh my God, I love that. Love it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to initiate that.
Well, I'm gonna buy you some composition notebooks. I got you.
Yes.
Nice.
I'll
Yes.
send a message too.
His and hers.
Got you covered, sis.
I've never heard of that. That just got I'm all giddy inside with the notion. Because I'd be all over that. I love it. I get to write as much as I want. Nobody can say get to the point.
Hello, English teacher. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
I bet it will be punctuated, grammar on cue. I mean, on point, right?
Well, I was just wondering, can we do shared drive like Google?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's start a Google Drive.
That would be the evolution.
That could be your cassette tape, Munder.
I love it. I love it. Kristen, you gonna try that too?
That sounds awesome. Early on in our relationship, I used to write letters when I would travel. And it was a way to just kind of like put my fears out there, put my energy out there, and just have it be like, here, read this now. And we kind of got out of the habit of it, but I love that.
Yeah.
I think Boss B, I think you're bringing something back.
All right. Hey.
Mhm.
I love it.
Boss B is back. Why not?
Good.
Oh my goodness. What a wonderful conversation tonight, though. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Shared thoughts, especially you, Big Jack. And let me tell you, you are never, ever monopolizing the conversation. You know we love you here.
Yeah, it was good.
It was. Those were really good points, you know. But I didn't see anybody else out there, but I know y'all are listening, and we want to tell you we love you and thank you for being here. And thank you for spending part of your evening with us. You know, communication is something we're all still learning, and hopefully tonight gave us all of us something to think about the next time we're faced with an important conversation. And you know you're going to be, right? So remember, sometimes the hardest words to say are the ones that need to be said the most. For all of us here at Ladies Diary, thank you for being part of our community. We absolutely adore you, and we appreciate every single one of you. And until next month, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Right, Mama Lions? Don't be afraid to say what you mean. Y'all have a good night, everybody. Ladies, hang back for me for just a minute, please.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody.